look great live. How will it look again on slow motion replay?
You're right, Todd. What a shot.
Hitter, winner. What a knockout shot. Let's take another look.
Where did that come from? What a shot.
So I gotta get this out of the way because TLDR Undisputed to me is a very fun boxing game. Although it's an incredibly flawed boxing game that I think with some patches and updates, maybe even a successor game, has potential to be absolutely fantastic. As it is though, is it worth the full price? Maybe not to everyone, but if you haven't played a boxing game since Fight Night Champions, which came out in 2011, this is definitely gonna scratch your itch. But it really comes down to who you listen to. So, see, as I've been playing this game, and look, I got my review copy later than other people. I also got my influencer kit later than others. I'm not mad about that. I'm just letting you guys know for the sake of context. I got my stuff way later. And so if you go on YouTube or you look up and Google this game, the spectrum of the reviews is either going to be on the massively low tier or people saying they absolutely hate this game, or the upper echelon where people are going to be like, hey, it's flawed, but I have a lot of fun. Me personally, I had a lot of fun playing this game, and honestly, it's one of those games where I'm like, hey, just play a game to have fun. And yeah, I mean, there's kind of a thing that's kind of lost in this current day and age. A lot of people don't really play games for fun anymore. It's either, it's got to be the greatest thing ever, it's got to be the worst thing ever. There's no in between. And if you are in between, it's like, hey, it's flawed, but I have fun. Everyone wants to come at you with pitchforks. That's just the current weird era of entertainment as a whole. I think everything, anime, games, movies, music, everything is like this nowadays. Which is why I don't typically like to engage in it. However, I want to let you guys know my thoughts on this game, which is, it's fun, but very flawed. And thank you to Undisputed for sending me a review copy of the game. I played on PlayStation 5. And all that being said, let's go ahead and get into this review because you probably want more of the nuts and bolts of it. So let me go ahead and give it to you. Since Electronic Arts last released its popular Fight Night series in 2011, the boxing game landscape has seen few challengers that mimic its realistic approach. Instead, boxing fans have had options like Nintendo's Punch-Out!, the management-based Punch Club, and the VR-focused Creed, The Road to Glory. It came as a surprise when indie developer Steel City Interactive launched Undisputed on Steam Early Access in January 2023. And after nearly 2 years of development and community feedback, the game is now making its debut. While it showcases numerous standout moments, it still comes across as, truthfully, a work in progress. That's not a bad thing inherently, but yes, why you're seeing so many people cry about this game. For those familiar with Fight Night, the control scheme of Undisputed will be welcoming, employing the same twin stick setup with minimal new features. The left stick directs movement and the right stick is used to map different punch types like jabs, hooks, uppercuts, and various directions. These moves can also be executed via the face buttons, but using the sticks enhances the gameplay's fluidity and precision. Now, by holding down the left bumper, players can target body shots, lowering the block from face to abdomen, and more powerful punches can be unleashed by holding the right bumper. The game borrows heavily from EA Sports' MMA, particularly in its health system, which tracks damage to each body part, guard strength, and visible injuries like swelling and cuts. On defense, blocks can degrade, exposing fighters to hits that would typically be blocked. Mastering movements such as slipping and dodging becomes absolutely crucial, particularly in high-stakes matches and online play, as it helps in guard recovery. Offensively, if an opponent blocks too frequently, they truthfully become susceptible to powerful punches that can rapidly break down their defenses. Straight power punches are effective for their speed and penetration, whereas power hooks offer good range and can disrupt opponents' combos. Triggering an opponent's adrenaline state by targeting their head or body allows for a flurry of stamina-free punches, aiming for a knockdown. Swelling and multiple cuts can also lead to a fight being stopped, turning the tide in favor of the player. The game captures the dynamic essence of boxing matches, yet it faces significant issues. The intensity of fights often hinges on exploiting openings with devastating combos or precise uppercuts. And look, let's talk about the graphics. The character models and animations are truthfully impressively lifelike. It features iconic boxers like Muhammad Ali and Tyson Fury and Canelo, among others. However, the authenticity takes a bit of a hit due to the unrealistic get-up animations, absence of clinching as well, and frequently missing punches at close range. Even the tutorial shows boxers missing simple combinations. In terms of presentation, Undisputed offers robust commentary from Johnny Nelson and Todd Grisham and a solid soundtrack that will constantly get you flagged on YouTube if you ever were to stream this game or you put up any type of, I don't know, promotional video where you're showcasing the influencer kit they sent you and you are told to incorporate the trailer and you do, and it gets struck and blocked. YouTube's outdated copyright system is so effing annoying. Back to the review. Although the audience and non-boxer characters like referees and judges lack dynamic reactions, for a first boxing game and real major game from this indie studio, it's a knockout. No pun intended, or double entrada intended. The game's career mode, while straightforward, it lacks depth, resembling more of a stat management simulation more than an engaging boxing experience. Adding training minigames or sparring sessions could have enhanced this mode. But truthfully, I didn't spend a lot of time in this mode because I just wanted to get in and get some matches going, hop online, which the online is actually pretty solid. I had a lot of fun getting myself waxed, pause, no diddy, when I was getting into online fights. I had a lot of fun playing it. Maybe it may not be for everyone, and yeah, there's a little bit of lag latency because I don't think it's using rollback netcode, but for the most part, it was fun. You know, that's what I spent the majority of my time doing versus CPU. And, you know, as far as playing online with other people, which is why you're not really going to see a lot of, the career mode. 'Cause I don't care for that typically in games like this. I want to get in, play, and then go from there. Now, I do have to talk about the creator boxer because, okay, I have not, and this is going to be the biggest sticking point, not including the knockdown animations where no matter where you knock a fool out or knock them down or they take a knee, they, for whatever reason, magically teleport to the center of the ring, which is irritating. When it comes to the create a boxer, this is the worst creator character mode I have seen since the WWF WWE GameCube days back in the day. And that's saying, I mean, I could even go so far as to say this is worse than 1998's WWF Warzone. It's that bad. You have as you guys can see, I have dreads, right? There's no dreads. There's no option to give your character anything other than at most maybe 12 different hairstyles or so. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'll probably throw it up here in the video, but it's so limiting. And then even if you can make your character look somewhat decent, as you can see, I have a full traditional Samoan tattoo. Done traditional tap style because I'm Samoan. But for whatever reason, you barely have like 4 to 5 pages of tattoos, and it's incredibly archaic trying to get that going, like to place them and everything like that. We're in 2024. What's going on, guys? Like, that should be better. This is an area that it needs to be updated. It needs to be patched, updated. They need to put more resources into it because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. That aside, even if you create a character yourself or another boxer, they're not going to look anywhere near as good as the actual in-game models. It's like, if you think about it like this, think about when you create a character in the old WWE games. You had the WWE wrestlers, right? And then you could have your creative character, which just doesn't look like they're running on the same game engine. That's just how bad it looks. So there's your context. In wrapping everything up, while Undisputed might not yet, if ever, rival Fight Night champion or Fight Night Round 3, it stands out in the current market for striving towards a realistic boxing experience with intense fights and, for the most part, well-crafted animations. Yeah, we've been currently in the last decade and a half in an era where people are more into MMA like UFC and Bellator and such, and Pride FC, if you guys remember that, than traditional boxing. I mean, honestly, boxing hasn't really been that exciting, with the exception of Tyson Fury, right? The Gypsy King. But for the most part, boxing is just not as mainstream as it used to be. So it makes sense as to why EA and other companies just aren't making boxing titles and they're only focusing on MMA games. And right now, you truthfully only have the UFC game made by EA at this point. Which is why there's such a lack of innovation in these games. So it's never great when you have a monopoly on something. I mean, look at Madden series. That series could be a lot better if we still had NFL 2K, which was, you go back and play NFL 2K20, not 2K, NFL 2K5, still leaps and bounds better than Madden 25. It's crazy. 20-year difference. That game 20 years ago still better than the game that's out now. But when you don't have competition, it also applies to 3D fighters. We only really have Tekken 8 on the market, or Tekken as a 3D fighter. BOA isn't really around anymore, and Virtua Fighter is kind of up in the air. When you only have one majority, and we see that with how WWE was running wrestling to the ground, which is now why we have AEW and all these other competitors, which many of them have always been around, but now people are more aware of them. When you have more choices on the market, you have a better overall experience. In this case, there needs to be more boxing games. And I'm happy that even though this is a very flawed game, it's still a fun game, and it finally gets to let us scratch that boxing itch that we haven't had since 2011. With that being said, continuous updates from Steel City Interactive promise future improvements. Despite its flaws, Undisputed lays a strong foundation and positions itself as a contender that's honestly worth keeping an eye on in the boxing genre. With that being said, I'm going to give Undisputed, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flame and flack for this, but fuck it, I don't care. This is my video, my review, my thoughts, and my opinion. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And with that being said, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you want to pick up the game, I'll leave links for it in the description down below, as well as popping up here on YouTube. I really want to give Steel City Interactive a huge thank you, mahalos, for providing me a review copy of the game for the PlayStation 5. And with that being said, I want you guys to let me know what you think of this game down in the description down below. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, peace out, and ahuiho.
Hitter, winner, what a knockout shot. Let's take another look.
Where did that come from? What a shot.
Look great live. How will it look again on slow motion replay?
You're right, Todd. What a shot.